Right, it's Friday afternoon, the 6th of March, and I'm here on the sunny Côte d'Azur in Coolwork. It's a local co-working space, and I have an office down here for doing things like this. Because to be quite honest, the broadband at home is not good enough for doing something like LinkedIn Live, even though this is my second take here, and hopefully the bandwidth and the quality of the video is good enough. I'll come on to trying out new tools. I'm going to be working from home like almost everybody else for the next couple of weeks. And I'm often out and about, and I start telling you what I'm going to be doing at an event or where I am or whatever. So I'm going to be at home like everybody else. So I needed a plan, because to be quite honest, if I didn't have a plan, I'd kind of go, I have loads to do. I do that next week. And I'd probably go off and play a bit more Fortnite. So I needed a plan. So what's my plan? Obviously, plan one is look after friends, family, respond as we're asked by the local authorities. Because this whole COVID-19 crisis, I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. And bad things can happen. Now, I'm hoping it's not going to be as bad as we think. But, fingers crossed. That said, life goes on. There's no point in me sitting at home waiting for bad things to happen. I'll do my head in. So I have a plan, and I decided that I might as well share the plan, because to be quite honest, sharing the plan is a forcing function. If I'm out there saying, here's what I'm going to do, I better go do it. So that's kind of my logic. So what am I going to be up to? Well, I have a series coming up with a chat with. I've invited a bunch of folks that I know right across the industry, coming from all different parts of the world, sectors, you name it. And the plan is to have a chat with them, not about a technology or their company, but about them and what they get up to, what's their average, a work week for them, the kind of things they enjoy doing, and to get their own personal take on the energy transition. Now, I've reached out to a bunch of folks, and I think as of 5:30 on Friday afternoon, I think 9 folks have confirmed. So I'll start recording those sessions offline, and you'll see them posting out onto my YouTube channel and stuff over the next couple of weeks. It'll go on for a couple of months. Now, this time around, I'm also going to turn those chats into a podcast. And so you'll see that coming up. So that's new. The other thing I'm going to do is you often hear me saying, I don't know what I don't know. So I'm going to have an entire series on I don't know what I don't know. I have the opportunity to travel around, and I meet a lot of clever people, and they have some very clever ideas and innovations around new technologies, new way of doing things. Whatever. It's always fascinating. And I always say, that's really cool about that. I never knew that about energy storage or nuclear or whatever. I must do my homework on that. And to be quite honest, I never get around to doing the homework because I'm off to the next thing. Well, I'm not off to the next thing now, so I have some time to do some homework. Now, what I plan to do is go off and do a bit of homework, and I have a bunch of topics, and I'll come to them in a few minutes. But what I then want to do is I just want to share what I know, found out, what I came across. Now, I don't know everything about everything, right? Pretty clear. But I think knowledge is relevant. So I'll share what I know, and then the rest of you, or anyone who wants to, can go, hey, you missed this. What about that company? Whatever. Just get the discussion going. And some of you might rip apart what I say. Hey, feel free. But it's just to get the ball rolling in terms of, hey, look, this is what I came across. Things like when I was at CES, the Tesla suit for virtual reality training. What Pentel Power are doing with salt, molten salt in power plants. The list is endless, right? And I can't keep track of them all and post them all, but I'll share stuff, and then people can pile in and go, what about this, what about that? Now, the topics that I'm going to pick, because energy transition is your big. Energy storage, grid scale digital twin, nuclear. I live in France. One of the biggest fusion reactors that's being set up in the world is 2 hours down the road. So nuclear is something I wanted to spend some time on. And carbon capture, another topic I've been on my to-do list for a long time. And the last one, this 5, distributed energy markets, and not the legal requirements, or whatever. And in all of these topics, I'm looking at what are the technologies underneath. All right, and I'm not. I don't pick winners and losers. I just want to see what's out there and kind of come up with, hey, here's what I came across. What am I missing? And I'm, I know. Sorry, I know I don't know very much about many of these topics, but I'm just going to share what it is, and then everyone else can pile in as you see fit. And it'll, as I say, keeps me busy. Now, the other thing that I'm going to do is the tools that we're using and the tools around the future of work. And what I mean by that is, look, most of us would claim that we know how to work remotely. We all have a laptop and a mobile phone and email and having a conversation with you. And we've Skype and Zoom and Messenger and WhatsApp and whatever, Slack, Trello, you name it, right? There's so many tools. Now, I can only speak for myself. I've been a remote worker. So I worked from home since when I joined Intel back in 2004. So I would claim I know how to do remote work. To be quite honest, I use a lot of the same tools the same way all the time. And I don't use an awful lot of the functionality for online collaboration, making a meeting experience better. I just don't, right? It's email and it's a voice call and then. The other thing is that, and again, I'll speak for myself. How many conference calls have I been on in the past 12 months, the past 10 years? And regardless of how cool the technology is and cameras and fiber and some of us, myself included, we don't mute our microphone when we're not talking. So you get all the feedback and you get all the echo and you get the sound quality. And then we're all whinging and moaning that the online experience isn't great. So I'm going to spend some time trying to make myself better on, well, how do you use these online tools properly? And what's the etiquette, right? It's not just, sure, away we go. Now, and I'm not talking about that, right? I have an office set up here. I have a Yeti mic and I have double screens and lighting and all the cool stuff. And I have the same in the home office. But a lot of folks will be working from home and all they'll have is their laptop, their phone, and maybe a headset. So it's not that everyone has to go off out and buy and set up their cool office and quiet location. There'll be kids running around, the dog, whatever, right? It's going to be a very different world. But so it's not about the technologies, but it's just about how do we use the tools. Anyway, end of rant. So what am I going to be doing personally? So I'm here using Social Live for broadcasting on LinkedIn Live. And to be quite honest, I just about barely get it to work now and again, if you've been following me for the last 2 months. So I need to get better as to how it works. There's also a lot of functionality in this app for inviting guests. So you can have a LinkedIn Live chat with people and their camera and whatever. So I'm going to be doing that with folks. You can also bring in video clips, slides, share your screen, etc., etc. I never tried any of that. So I'm going to be trying that over the next couple of weeks with folks. I've been using Zoom, and I think it's a great tool for about the past year and a half. I use it for a lot of recording all the podcasts and the videos and stuff I do. But again, I'm barely using the most basic functions of Zoom. So I need to go off and what about all this other cool stuff? And how do you do interactivity? And what happens if you have more than 2 people on the call? How do you play that out? How do you lay out the screen? How do you pass it around? What's the etiquette, etc.? So again, need to go off and do that. The other thing, I've been a fan of AR and VR for years, and I'll be off playing VR games as well. But virtual reality meetings. Now, some of you might remember back in the day, there was Second Life, right? That's dating me a bit now. So I have been at a couple of marketing presentations in Second Life. I was there as my avatar. I was a green bunny running around the place. Long time ago. Cut a long story short, that technology has evolved dramatically. And thanks to Alan Smithson, he gave me a list of companies yesterday, about 10 or 15 or 20 of them, that offer virtual reality experiences today for business, for corporate world. So I'm going to go off and try out a few of them. And just again, to see what is the experience like? How do you do it properly? And I'd probably end up joining people who know how to do it properly, as opposed to me faffing around doing it myself. Anyway, need to go off and do some of that. The other thing, 360 experiences. Now, I went off and got a new gadget. This is the Insta 360 1R, 360 camera. Very cool piece of kit. Invisible selfie stick and bullet and all sorts of cool things. Now, the reason I got that was I wanted to up my game in terms of how do you tell a story at an event or if you're off visiting an energy facility. So I've had a 360 camera for a couple of years, but the resolution wasn't great and it was a bit clunky and whatever. This is a whole different ballgame. The resolution and stuff is pretty exceptional. So the plan is to use a 360 camera to record some chats when I'm chatting with someone at a booth, looking at a piece of technology, getting a booth tour inside an energy facility or at an energy facility, stuff like that. Because it allows, you don't have to just look at what I'm looking at. You can actually look at, you can spin it around. And if you put on a VR headset, well, again, a whole different thing. Now, it's very different to tape or set up and tape a 360 video and chat than it is with a normal camera. The angles and the way you do it is very different. So I need to go off and learn that. So I'm going to try and take some time and whatever. So over the next couple of weeks and months, if you see some pretty unprofessional LinkedIn lives and start and stops and me deleting stuff, and I'll also get a few volunteers, or maybe victims, be a better word, to come help me try out some of this stuff. And again, it's purely, you know, I'm a big believer in you gotta try this stuff yourself before you can start talking about and telling people and pontificating about how we should all be better at online meeting etiquette. If you don't do it yourself. So anyway, I'm off doing a whole lot of that. Now, they're kind of new things or things I've had in the pipeline for a while, and because I've got some time, that's my plan. Now, I've got a bunch of stuff I need to catch up on, and I have what I call my day job, my real work. You know, I have a bunch of what I call real work activities with a bunch of clients that I do in the background. You know, I'm out and about. That's about 50% of my work. The other 50% is consultancy and advisory work and stuff with different companies. So I have I got to keep doing that, right? That's not going to stop. I also have a good bit of content and material that I've recorded probably over the past 12 months at various events, visiting different facilities. And to be quite honest, I've been on to different companies going, yeah, I'll get that for you next week. And to be quite honest, next week was next week and next week, and here we are. So the gang at FPT International, NL, OnPower, ITRAN, and a bunch of others. I'm going to try and get around to edit a bunch of those videos and stuff over the next couple of weeks and months, because it's some great content. You've got some great stories and some great technologies. So I have that stuff. I just need to go off and work on it. And thanks to the folks at Smart Energy International and Power Engineering International, like I did last year, we're going to be featuring a bunch of content in different series, mini campaigns, if you like, just rebroadcasting a bunch of content that I did with some companies over the past 12, 18 months on their websites as well over the next couple of months. Now, I've also got a couple of Twitter chats set up with folks. There's a couple of other online projects with people. If you remember, I was the host of the Energy Singularity podcast last year. Well, that was coming back. Well, and it is coming back. The Ed Hess and the team up at Grid Singularity, they had organized the whole Energy Singularity hackathon track challenge at the Odyssey Hackathon. It was supposed to happen on the first weekend in April. The hackathon itself has been postponed, like almost everything else, and rightly so, to mid-June. So we were planning on having a couple of podcast episodes about what are they up to there with the whole D3A, distributed energy, gamification of energy markets, whatever. That is all going to happen as well. It's just not going to happen in the next couple of weeks as we had planned. It's been pushed out a bit, but that's all going on. So cut a long story short, I don't think I will be short of things to do. The other thing that I am conscious of, and a couple of people have said it to me as well, Kev, you post a lot of stuff and that's great and whatever, but sometimes you kind of, it's all me, myself, and I. So what I want to try and do is spend an hour a day if I can, and just comment on other people's stuff, right? There's no point in just posting out all my own stuff and going, oh, whatever. There's so much content. Everything's going online right now. Look at any company. Look at all of you guys in your day jobs. More and more stuff, webinars, how do we make engaging content? How do we get our message out instead of going to events? This COVID-19 crisis is a crisis. And as I say, let's look back in 2 or 3 months, assuming we're all around, hopefully. And the impact could be bad or it could be terrible. I'm hoping for the not so bad. But to be quite honest, it might change the way we work. So let's take the opportunity to change the way we work and do more stuff online, get more engagement, find out what works, doesn't work. I don't know what all the answers are. I'm going to try a bunch of things. And as I say, some will work, some won't. Now, you're going, that's great. You're rattling on here for 25 minutes or something. Who cares? Why are you publishing this? And to be quite honest, I'm not really sure how many people are going to watch this or not. I'll put out a post and all this stuff as well. But I'm actually using it as my own forcing function. Now that I've put it out there, you guys can come back and go, oi, what happened about this? I've got 9 or 10 people who are saying, hey, when are we going to schedule the chats? So I've put it out there. Now, obviously, let's see how the whole crisis develops. And let's face it, our health, our families, our lives come first. So, but I needed a plan. So that's my plan, putting it out there. Let's see how far I get. Because to be quite honest, if I hadn't put out the plan, I really would have sat around and gone, do you know what, Asher, there's no hassle. I'll do that next week. And mañana never comes. Now, I probably would have increased, or I probably still will anyway, my Fortnite skills. I've actually set up my the Philips Hue lighting system with my Razer setup. So the whole lighting changes in my home office. That's really cool, actually. So, but if I didn't have a plan, honestly, I would be off doing some, whatever, wasting a bit more time. So that's my plan. It's out there. That's what I'm going to be up to. So if you see stuff popping up in your feed, that's what I'm at. Now, anyway, most importantly, look after yourselves, look after your families, and don't take any risks and stay healthy. Anyway, we'll see you all online.